folks. It is, what is the day today? Today is the 16th of September. It is the third follow-up to the Deerfield River area. I believe last time I said Greenfield River, and that is incorrect. My apologies. We are doing a third and probably final follow-up today to cover the area as thoroughly as we can. And the reason being, it's a large area, and every time that I've been in here, there's a little bit more that needs to be covered. That's why we're here today. That's our plan for the day. That's going to be the subject of, I guess, an unexpected episode 11, part 3, the Deerfield River Expedition. And that's the plan we have, and we're going to get to work. All right? Just a side note and a reminder, these kinds of mushrooms right here make for fairly good fire tinder if you don't have a lot with you. I do, so I shall leave them be, but the fact is that is good tinder. Much dreaded between the tree shots. And if I do decide to stay over, I should grab a whole bunch of this stuff because that's dry and nice firewood. I have not made that decision yet, though. like the footwork might get a little more tricky unless you find a way through, kind of like this. Ow. That was uncalled for. Sorry. Good enough. Hard to tell if that's a kicked over rock or if this is something of a moose trail. It goes right down to the water. And you have this and this. That is about a moose trail. The thing is, you think this is fairly soft soil, you would think you'd have other ones. That is the thing with this. But it does look to be a game trail of sorts, because it keeps going up right towards where the trail is, parallel to this. Interesting. So, yeah, I haven't figured out what I'm doing. I'm kind of working along the periphery of this pond like I did the other big wetlands, looking for sign of big thirsty critters, because if the big hairy squatch wants to come down to drink, it's as good a place for him as any, along with the other critters. Not to mention, this thing is scenically gorgeous. I think you'd find it hard to disagree with me here. Very quiet and peaceful, too. Sorry. System check. It would seem this face of the pond gets a wee bit steeper, making navigation right on the edge a little trickier. Not steeper, actually, as we navigate through the eye pokers. Another use for the wood knocker. And it would seem all is quiet at the pond today. All right.
I think rather than go through all that, we're going to backtrack. It's more scenic anyway. Chris Billingsgate did a video the other day called Sasquatch Reality, and he covers some of the realities of bushwhacking. I wonder if this qualifies in his book. Scenic bushwhacking maybe, but still, nonetheless, it's steep and in some places a little potentially dicey. Got to duck down and all that. So Chris, if you're watching and you care to comment, be curious your thoughts on this particular segment. Let's see what you think. But I would make the argument the scenery makes the trip worth it. Very nice in here. As that side trail was last week, dropping us right on the shoreline of a little tributary of the reservoir. That is pretty as well. Minus the bear presence that was right there. If I didn't mention that in the video, there's a point where I actually am looking over to my left constantly, and that is because if you didn't notice how fresh the bear tracks were, I was hearing the potential maker of them off to my left. And field tip right here. With a game trail right here, if you had a moose coming through here, you look on this kind of stuff for hair samples and the like. I don't personally see any on this, but that's a good hair catcher. That's something to keep your eyes out for. The eye pokers do have some value in that regard. But that's kind of pretty too. It's 1:30. Not that the time is as big a deal out here, but the point to be mentioned is it is September, and you notice how fun it is to walk in this if it were later in the afternoon and you were running low on daylight. Walking through this in the dark would be an interesting thing. And by interesting, I am suggesting hazardous. Especially the steeper section, because that's plenty of things in here that can potentially trip you and poke you and fun stuff. So, one of those little things to bear in mind. Back into the easier stuff. Almost looks like someone was digging in here too. But I don't see any obvious signs of bear tracks, which would be your most likely culprit. What's also interesting is you have a beaver dam over there. I don't think it's current though. When you're walking through here, you really don't see a lot of sign of little telltale punji spike looking tree tips where the beavers have been doing what beavers do, which is cutting down, chopping down and eating, or I don't know if they eat it, but they work the trees to build their lodge and the dams and the like. And I don't see a lot of that recently anyway. But at one point, at the very least, they were here if they're not here now. I think that goes without saying. Again, the bushwhacking aspect of this. Inadvertent wood knock. The nice thing about this place, you get a hell of an echo off of this. Yes, I'm going to wood knock on this tree if it's got. You hear me playing the echo? This probably is a good wood knocking spot too, because it is fairly out of the way and the acoustics on this aren't bad. Case in point. Some kind of a track. Hard to tell with no definition now. Could be moose, could be bear. Probably your two major suspects there, but move. That was not intended. Come to have that saying, any good trip you're picking ferns out of your boot. Signs of a good bushwhack. The acoustics in here are pretty good. There you go. There's your fire tender, so we're near where we came in. We'll start making our way up. Sadly, it seems quiet today. And we're back on the trail. duck. It's not that big either, though. Damn it, I want a photo of it, though, if I can get there without dying. This is another good example of an area you probably don't want to be wandering through at night with all the lovely eye pokers waiting to greet you. But I get a nice view of that now. It's not that big. Treacherous, yes. Kind of big, no. Ew. That's not that big at all. Ew. That last tree was full of sap, too. Rather sticky. That's as good as I'm going to do here. Moving right along.
Okay, folks, this is going to be the wrap up for today's, if the birds will shut up for a minute. We did some recon around the periphery of a large beaver pond today. We explored a couple of smaller meadows. Nothing really other than that to report, so I guess we're going to wrap it up here. We're going to probably do some local reconnaissance on Saturday and Sunday, so we'll do that. And until next time, thanks for watching. I hope you like the video. We'll see you next time.